for having me.
All right. Hey, Ash, what makes you interesting?
What makes me interesting? So many things. I mean, I was put here on earth to do this one thing that only I can do. And I have
Juggle
no fear anymore.
chainsaws.
Yeah, it works.
No,
It
what
just
do you
kind of works
what is
like
it that you do? So what is it that
uh,
what is your purpose on this planet?
my purpose is to bring people joy.
All right.
And
That's
that
it.
that is either through highlighting, just being positive and highlighting people's strong suits and not focus on the negative. There's so much negative in today's world on the news and everything else. It's like, let's be positive. Let's be happy. Let's talk about some happy stuff. And so I just like to keep people up tempo and motivated.
I think that's really good. I think my entire purpose on the planet was to get people to roll their eyes. It's eye exercise. That's what I'm here for.
uh,
That's great. Well, now, Ash, how do you do that? What's the way that you spread this joy? What do you do?
well, recently it's been my podcast show, actually. I have a
Oh, hey,
podcast.
you're a podcaster too, huh?
I am a podcaster. Yeah, I have a podcast show called Ash Said It Daily. And it's kind of funny how it started because literally I had started this podcast to just, a friend of mine suggested it, and I was really just trying to motivate myself to get up and exercise in the morning. So I was like, you're trying to do those things that you don't really want to do. You're like, let me get up and get motivated and get set up. And so I would start these podcasts and just talk to myself literally and pump myself up about how I'm gonna, go through. I'm gonna work it out. I'm gonna, get this body that I want to get and all this stuff. And slowly but surely, people started to pay attention and started to download the show. And I was like, really? And then before I knew it, excuse me, I got picked up by iHeartRadio and they started picking up my streams. I was like, oh, this is fascinating. And before I knew it, I started interviewing a lot of high level CEOs of companies, chefs, actresses, writers, whoever, as long as they had a good, influential story, because I wanted to highlight the fact that we hear about the Beyoncés and the Jay-Z's of the world and the Bill Gates and everybody like that, but we don't hear too much about the story that they had before they were this huge name, this bigger than life name. So I like to get to the meat and potatoes of what makes that person unique. And also highlighting that we all have faults, we all have challenges and things that we go through in life. And I wanted people to see that even though you're in a struggle, even though you're going through your circumstance, there's still light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
You're still capable.
Right. Actually, you bring up an interesting point, and this is something I try to convey to a lot of people is the outlier fallacy that
Mm-hmm.
happens, where people hear about Jay-Z and like, what
Mm-hmm.
what was his background? He sold crack. Like, what was his
Yeah,
thing?
he was
He
a
was
drug dealer.
he's a drug dealer, right?
Yeah.
So like he comes up and he becomes Jay-Z, right? Like, how
Yeah.
many people become Jay-Z? I see my show, unfortunately, I know I can't get the big stars. But what I like to do is I like to take the people that have those type of stories, but just got like made it as far as like, hey, they can make their bills every day, right? Like I think
Exactly.
those are heroes too, and I think that that's the
Exactly.
we don't celebrate that enough.
Yeah,
I think.
that's the point. That's the point
Right.
of it. Is that
Yeah.
is letting everyday people know, okay, yeah, they're a big, huge star, but you know what? They started somewhere. And
Right.
then picking people from, from society or really just, from the norm here in Atlanta and letting people know these are great people as well. You may not know about them because they don't have a song on the charts right now,
Right.
but they're still big people. They're still doing influential things, and it did not come overnight. We're in a microwave society now where everybody's like, oh, I just want to be a superstar overnight. And it doesn't happen for anybody it doesn't happen like that for anybody.
No, it doesn't. Do you think American Idol's the thing that did that to us?
I think a lot of things did that to us. With the microwave mentality, maybe they did have a pretty big part of that. The whole microwave mentality, a lot of millennials, which technically I am a millennial, but I don't think like that. I don't feel like people owe me or entities owe me anything. I've had to work my butt off
When
to get a quarter of the stuff that I get.
No, exactly. You know what? Actually, everybody talks yang about millennials. Now,
Yeah.
here's the thing. I'm not a millennial. I missed the mark. I'm a little old. Anyway, millennials actually get a bad rap, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
think they get a very bad rap. And I think it's very easy for the older generation to always poo-poo whatever the younger generation has. Well, we didn't have cell phones in middle school. It's like, you know what? The believe it or not, the cell phone has actually caused more work. It's another layer
Mm-hmm.
of distraction.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's harder to be young now than it was when I was a kid.
It
And
was.
yeah,
It absolutely was. I mean, think about it. When we were kids, you're outside, you're playing around, you're running up and down, you're playing hopscotch and all kind of outdoor stuff. Kids today, they don't even know about outside. I've got nieces and nephews that are all about computer. They're all about their tablet. I'm like, go outside and play. They're like, what?
yeah,
Outside?
yeah. I mean,
What is that?
do they watch people play video games
Yeah,
on
yeah.
YouTube? It's like one of those things. Like I can't figure out what the attraction there is, right? Because I'm like, my son's 13. I'm like, hey, buddy, you have this game.
Yeah.
Why don't you play this game? And I feel like I'm having that conversation like my parents had with go outside.
Yeah,
You've already
yeah.
seen this episode of Three's Company. Go outside, right? But I'm like, hey, just stay inside. Just play the video game.
Yeah.
My friend, I think I've already told this on this podcast, but I'll tell you anyway. My friend was asking his son, like, why are you doing this? This is the most ridiculous thing. You have this game. He goes, hey, Dad, you you want to go outside and play football? Because watch enough of it on TV. I was like,
Ooh,
oh,
touche.
oh,
Touche.
yeah.
Touche
So
on
now
that.
you live in Atlanta.
I'm in Atlanta, GA. Yes.
Okay. I did not like Atlanta at first.
Yeah.
I've grown to enjoy Atlanta. That city's big. That is a
It
big city.
it has transformed tremendously. I've been in Atlanta, I've been in Georgia since 1989.
Okay.
And so I've seen like the transitions that it's gone like decade after decade. It is just gone through a whole whirlwind where literally it's like Hollywood out here.
Yeah.
Because of the tax break. So now everybody's filming all their TV shows, all the movies, everything is going on in Atlanta. And it's
Yeah.
it's made a huge change for the good. For the
Yeah,
good.
well, no, not all for the good. The traffic's terrible. I
Traffic is a
hate
beast.
driving there. I hate driving there more than I hate driving in Portland. I thought Portland's gotten really bad. I need to
No,
move
and
someplace where there's no cars.
good luck on that one. Good luck
Yeah.
on that. But Atlanta's it's gotten like worse because with all the storms that we had, this month, all the Florida people that had to evacuate, a lot of them are still here.
Oh,
A
yeah.
lot of them. So now before it would take, okay, well you leave an hour before to get you got to leave 2 3 hours before to get in a good space in traffic in order to get where you're going.
Now, was that one of those situations where you're like, as a city, you were like very welcoming? You were like, come, we'll take you. And then now it's sort of like they're worn out their welcome, and you're like, you've been on the couch for 3 weeks.
Yeah, like y'all are kind of making this a permanent thing. Like every blue moon, you're driving and you'll see, oh, you may see another state. Oh, Florida here, Illinois there. But now it's like back to back to back. I'm seeing way more Florida plates than ever before. And I know
Yeah.
it's because of the storm.
Yeah.
But
And you're like, oh God, this is the worst. But at the same time, you're like, where else are they gonna go?
exactly. What else do they have? Especially the people whose houses were completely obliterated. So
Right,
like
right. Oh,
gosh.
yeah. You
That's
just grin and bear it, I guess.
basically.
Yeah. So on your podcast, you have lots of guests, right?
Yes. Hmm.
And and you don't have to give names because if they are celebrities, obviously we don't want to do that. But have you ever had any guests that were just like you couldn't wait to get them off of the show?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. I've interviewed people. We're not going to say any names.
No, no,
I've
no, no, no,
interviewed
no names.
people on the show where, okay, my thing is this, like, just like I come on your show and I'm talking about, everything. I'm excited. I'm happy. This is what I love doing.
Right.
I've had people to start businesses or even be a brand name or whatever to come on the show. And it's like, okay, well, hey, person A, how's it going? I heard that you started a new business. Tell us all about it. Yeah, I started a new business
And they
and
turn into
I
Eeyore?
like it. It's like, why aren't you excited? This is your business. I'm not saying that you're working for Walmart. Nothing wrong with Walmart. But I'm not,
Nothing wrong with Walmart.
but this is your brand. Like, have some excitement to it. Have some. I've interviewed people where it's like watching paint dry. And I'm just
Oh,
like, OMG, like I cannot wait for this to be done. And it's like, when you're the only one with enthusiasm on the other end, it's like it just makes it a very awkward situation where you just like, I don't feel like doing this anymore. If I could, I would just hang up on you.
Yeah.
But, brand wide, that's not going to look very good.
No,
But
that's not gonna go look good. That's not
that's
gonna
not
look
going to
good.
turn out
What kind
well.
of product was it? Can I ask what kind of product it was?
Um, I forget honestly. Now one of them he was like a rapper, and I'm not a big
Um.
fan of like the rapper stars now. I don't. Hip hop to me is dead, and a lot of
Oh
people
my
will.
gosh, are you
I feel
serious?
I feel hip hop
Really?
is dead. I feel hip hop was on life support for a couple years, and it is just completely like I'm just a top 40s girl now. I
Yeah.
listen to pop, but rap itself is got like when Biggie and Tupac and Bone Thugs and Harmony, Snoop Dogg. Those are like 90s was my favorite era in music. Period. Hip hop,
Ditto.
pop, rock, R&B, country. That was just like the highlight of it for me. And I feel like today's artist, um, as a whole, but mostly hip hop. Hip hop is dead. Hip hop is it,
Yeah.
it it died a while ago.
When I thought hip hop, because I was big into music in the 90s,
Hmm.
1993 to 2003, and I was somewhat in the music industry,
Yeah,
like that kind of.
yeah,
But I felt like I feel like any type of music genre is basically on its way out when they start doing a lot of bling, right?
yeah, yeah. It's like they're trying to
Like,
distract you.
yeah, it was like the hair bands in the 80s. That's when you knew
Yeah.
when rock was kind of on its way out, and that was the rise of hip hop. And then hip hop kind of had that same situation where it was all about like I have so much money, and it was
Yeah.
not so much about like
The content.
the content.
The,
And what attracted me as a scrawny white kid into white hip hop was this was not a lifestyle I knew or
right.
understood, so it was something brand new. And then all of a sudden it was like this. Now it's like you're talking about how much money you have, and it's like, well,
Yeah, you have no this I mean, there are a few people that are quality, I'll even say hip hop, maybe crossover artists that you may or may not know about. You ever heard of D1? D1 Music?
no, D1.
Look him up. He's a big
All
shit.
right.
I interviewed him years ago when I had another podcast show. And he was phenomenal. His music has content, it's uplifting, he doesn't curse in it. And it's trendy. It's that type of stuff, but he's one artist, one artist
Right.
in the barrel of like 50 million just garbage people.
Right.
Um, he actually got signed. I'm serious, no, but he's recently, I want to say, if not last year before last, he got signed to RCA Records, and he's still, from what I can tell, he's staying true to his music, and
That's
that's what
hard.
makes him stand. It's very hard, and I feel because of that. He probably hasn't got as much shine as a lot of the main people that have $100,000 backing their image and all that other stuff. But he's one that sticks out just immediately. Awesome artist. And when I had the other podcast show, I was doing mostly artist based stuff. So I was doing a lot of indie people. So hip hop, R&B, country, rock.
Right.
Awesome, just amazing artists that you would never hear about because they're indie, because they're underground.
Right.
Um, Another one of my favorites is a good friend of mine, Dre Music. You can check out Drege. It's a reggae with a D up front.
Okay.
Drege.com. Go check him out. He's a good friend of mine, Dre. Jamaican. He fuses hip hop with a lot of the Jamaican, the Caribbean culture, and so it's just like he's spitting some really hot stuff, and he's also here in Atlanta.
Ah, there you
And
go.
he's a really good artist that I think more and more people need to know about and should know about. And so he's branching off too, but again, he's one in the bucket,
One in the
and
bucket.
one in the
Yeah.
bucket. So it's like hip hop, like until everybody that's in the scene is really becoming conscious about what they're doing and the type of imagery and the type of music and message that they're putting out there, hip hop is dead.
Yeah. Yeah,
It is.
that's a bold statement, but
It's
I'm not gonna
bold.
argue with it. I'm not gonna argue with it. And do you get stuck in the same trap I get stuck in, where it's like literally 1993 to 2003? That's my era of music, and
That's a
outside of that, I can't, like, I mean, and not necessarily that those years, but like there's a decade of music that
that
I can,
era.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah,
So
I'm
like,
totally with you on that one. That whole
yeah,
era I think is good. Like even when I'm going to go work out or whatever, I'm looking on Spotify or whatever. I'm like, let me look at 90s era music.
yeah,
Let me get that
yeah.
in there. Yeah,
Ah,
totally with you on that
so
one.
good, so
It
good.
is. It's just, and kids today, they don't understand. They don't know. It just hurt my heart. I was volunteering a few months back with the Girl Scouts, and all of them were like, "Oh my gosh, Nicki Minaj is so great. She's the best. She's the
Right.
greatest." I'm like, "Oh my God, are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh."
You know where I
Hurt my
think
heart.
all the good music now, or no, let me rephrase that. I'm not gonna put a good or bad moniker on anything, but YouTube seems to be like where all the new artists are showing up, it seems like. And all the new music. When you're talking about new music, it's like things I literally can't listen to. And that's when I know it's good. Right? Because I'm like the old man now. And I'm like, hey, you kids get off my lawn. Turn off that noise. It's too loud, right? Like that's what I'm doing when my son's on YouTube with watching music. And it's like that's
Yeah,
where all the new music's happening is there.
yeah, yeah. It's popping off there, but I'm like,
No, and none of it's
not a huge
appealing.
fan. No,
None of it is appealing.
not even the clothing. I'm just like y'all can come up with something better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. We're getting old. That's just all there is to it. Do you
I
remember?
suppose I did. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
you remember when we were kids, right? And you're like, man, my parents don't understand anything that's good.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
now we're up in those ages, and it's like, man, none of this crap's any good.
Mm-mm. But I just feel like I said that whole '90s era. I feel like that was the pinnacle, and that was unfortunately like the high point in music. The Nirvanas. We had Guns N' Roses.
Right.
Everybody was on their. I feel like everybody was really on their top game during that time. I
You
really
know
do.
why? So here's the thing that happens is I love indie stuff. Obviously, I love indie stuff. We're pretty indie, right? Like
Yeah, yeah,
that's I
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
look at
It
as
is.
far as media goes, we're really indie. I'm
Yeah.
way more indie than you because I like don't have nearly the listenership you do. But um
Oh.
that's not a put down. I like your
No, no,
content.
no. Exactly. Everybody's in their own lane.
Yeah,
That's what it comes
exactly.
down to.
But back then, it wasn't like that. Like
No.
everybody was trying to go for getting
Yeah.
the record deal,
Mm-hmm.
and now
Mm-hmm.
it's not so much about getting the record deal because the record
Mm-hmm.
deals everybody recognizes are garbage.
Yeah.
So they
And
start.
and it's funny you say that. I interviewed about 3 weeks ago. You ever heard of Millie Jackson? I know you know Millie
Yes.
Jackson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Her daughter's Keisha Jackson. She's
Okay.
also here in Atlanta. I interviewed her. And one thing that I didn't realize is that a lot of times today, why everybody's going indie is because she basically said, like, the record companies are just like giving it to artists. Like she said before, back in the 90s when she would tour, it was always understood that, the record labels, they get a certain percentage of their royalties and whatever fees for, their songs and tracks and stuff. And when they went on tour, that was the artist. That was all them.
Right.
Today, she said they're going into their pockets bad. She
Yeah.
said they're getting their tour money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't.
That's
I was like, really?
crazy.
She's like, yeah. She's like, that's why everybody's going indie because they want to save their coins. They trying to,
Yeah.
now because nobody's selling records like before. It's all
Right.
about downloads and streams and things of that nature. And she's like, yeah, they're going into those tours. I was like, huh.
Yeah, and I feel like the record label is kind of a passé thing. I don't think the record
It
labels
is.
are really necessary anymore.
No, no, not when you have social media that's opened up a whole new world for
Hmm.
artists. I mean, again,
Yeah.
back to D1. He was touring, selling out arenas all throughout the U.S. Look him up. I'm serious. Look him up.
No, no, I'll definitely
And
check them out.
before he got signed to a label, and I think the label thing was mostly just to, I guess continue to broaden his listenership and his fan base. But he really didn't need a label necessarily. But he's
Yeah,
moved on.
one of my favorite stories is about this little known hip hop star, MC Hammer. Um, seriously, because he was in Oakland, right? And he'd
Yeah.
drive around in his car, right?
Hmm.
Hatchback, I think. And
Probably.
Yeah, he opened up the trunk and he would have his tapes, cassette tapes, because it was ladies and gentlemen. And he would sell the tapes out of the back of his car, right? And then
Yeah.
I think it was MCA, one of the record
Yeah, I
labels.
think it was
It was
MCA.
MCA approached him and was like, "Okay, we'll sign you to a contract." And he's like, "No." And we were like, "What?" He said, "I make more money selling out of the back. I
Mm-hmm.
could sell 100 of these, whereas you would have to sell 10,000 of those.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
For
doing
me to
just
get a
fine.
portion of this.
Yeah. Plus,
Mm-hmm.
I get all the doors, so I'm good." So he got a really juicy deal. He got a good deal. And then I don't know what happened after that. He spent a lot of money on things that he shouldn't have, I guess.
Yeah. Well, he wasn't watching his money, and that was
No.
a lesson for everybody to see.
Yeah.
You one thing is like as people get on and stuff with money, you have to understand, okay, yeah, you can do good, but you can't help everybody. You can't reach in the pot and help everybody. And
No.
he had like everybody on his payroll. I was like, dude.
Yeah, I even in my weird business that I'm in during my day job, there I have seen examples of that, and it's like
Hmm.
every time you see it, you're like, oh, just I
Yeah.
know it's gonna be hard to say no, but you gotta
You you
do
you have
it.
you have to. There's no way. It's either you or them. Make a
Yeah,
choice.
yeah, exactly, exactly. So now, what got you started on all of this? I mean, you started down this path, right? The sending out the positivity, doing it. I mean, you do a lot of media.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know
I'm all
how
over
you
the
do all
place.
this. I don't know how you do all this media. Like it's kind of amazing. I'm still scrolling. Like it's still scrolling as I'm
it's
going through it.
it's
How did you
it's
get
a
started with all that?
literally I have a media background. Long story short, I have a communications degree, and my whole intent was to go into radio. I was like, okay, I'm going to graduate, I'm going to go into radio in Atlanta, blah blah blah, everything's going to be wonderful. Atlanta wasn't feeling me. um
Really?
Mm-mm. No, I came back to home to Atlanta. Atlanta wasn't feeling me. And so I did some contract work for a few of online stations. And it was not beneficial for me, but I learned a lot. And it was kind of like the stomping grounds for me to continue to kind of hold my craft and cultivate and practice. It was good. It was a good practice ground.
Right.
And long story short, this company that I was working for, they passed on a $2.5 million deal. Yeah, let that sink in. Let that sink in there. So
Okay.
I'm working with them for about 4 years. They passed on a $2.5 million deal. Lied about it. And then I just kind of came to this place where I was like, you know what? Maybe this is not what is for me. Maybe that's God's way of telling me, you know what? That is not for you. That's not for your life. And
Right.
so I really just kind of put it on the shelf. And in that time was when I was doing all the media stuff with the indie artists and promotions and publicity and things. And so I had all that stuff under my belt. And I took care of my grandfather, my mom, and my baby sister for about 4 years straight. Granddad passed in 2011. Mom started to
Mm.
get sick, and sis was starting to get sick. And the whole time I'm like, I'm doing for everyone else, and I wasn't doing for myself. And I was like, you know what, I need to get disciplined, I need to get my shit together. And so I got disciplined. I lost about 97 pounds, and I joined the
Wow.
army.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, that was, you didn't see that one coming. A lot of people don't see that
No.
coming.
Nope. That was a record
I
scratch
was like,
moment.
whoa. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You
So
lost a
I joined.
person. Like
I
97
did.
pounds is like a person you lost.
It is, and
Yeah.
it's even more work to continue to keep it off. It's people like, oh, you lost the weight, so you're great. No, you still got to work
No.
to
No,
keep it
because you
off.
start you start giving yourself allowances like, I lost 97 pounds. That donut suddenly
Yeah,
looks pretty edible.
basically. Yeah. So we go on, and December 30th, 2013, I go off to basic training, and on the 31st, my mom passed away.
Oh,
So it's just like I couldn't finish training. It's already a straining time already. You're going through training. So I couldn't finish
yeah.
training just mentally. It was just too much. And I came back home and I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, I don't have a plan. None of what I had in mind has happened and transformed. And
Right.
so I went back into the media sector of being a producer and being a talent scout. And I produced a few improv comedy shows that was here in Atlanta. And while I was doing that stuff, I was good at it and I was familiar with it, but it did not give me joy.
Right.
And I was like, I'm doing this stuff and I know I'm good at it, but I don't get anything out of it really. And so I had a lot of people that were around me that were not good people.
Mm.
Contracts that didn't get finished paid for, things of that nature. And I had to distance myself from a lot of that, a lot of them. And it was like God was telling me, I need you to get away from these people so I can bless you with some big stuff. And I was like, I don't know. Okay, so I got away from the people, and almost immediately, doors started opening for me that I didn't even know existed. And I was like, wow, really? All I had to do was like let go of all the craziness.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as I let go of that stuff, doors started opening up, and I started Ash Said It. And it started basically where I went to a friend's wedding. It was a beautiful ceremony, gorgeous ceremony. Everything was beautiful, wonderful. We go to the reception, the MC doesn't show up. She's freaking out. Like
Oh my
makeup is
God.
like she's like makeup, we're trying to keep her calm. The makeup artist is trying to get her mascara to stop running. We're just
Right,
having a
right.
fit. She turns to me and she's like, Ash, could you host the reception? I was like, what are you talking about? I don't do that stuff. She's like, it's just like when you used to do the radio stuff. I was like, no, but I don't do that anymore. And so I did it for her. And it was like second nature. Where
Yeah.
I was like, okay, wow, I could actually do this. I think I do enjoy this. And from there, that's why I started the public speaking, and people started to hire me on for referrals to host their events, to host their receptions or their book launch or whatever events that they had going on. And then from there, I started to implement little pieces of the social media sector of things that I had used previously. And I was like, okay, well, this used to work for this, so let me try it on here, and let me try this here. And I started to implement the little pieces in there. And then the podcast show, like I said, before, I was really just playing around with it. I really didn't take it serious. I was like, yeah, this is something I'm going to start. Yeah, I'm going to do that. And I really didn't take it as serious as it's become. And so now, with the success of that show, it has opened up way more doors for me. And it just comes from believing in yourself, and thinking and knowing that you're capable of doing these things, because so many people, I can't tell you how many people told me, oh, well, that's stupid, that's going to be dumb, that's nobody has a company like that, that's never going to work out, that's foolish. But you taking that leap out on faith, you just never know. So
Right.
take it out and try it out,
Yeah.
see what happens.
I love it. I love it. And now on what you just said, so I had scrolled to the bottom of your homepage to because before the interview or the conversation here, and it was like it seems like Ash. The quotes are Ash was warm, professional, and on time.
Very prompt with my
Stayed
timing.
in touch with me throughout the preparation. Like these are things important for someone that's going to be
Yes,
running shit. Yes, exactly.
you've got to, you better be on time.
I
God, that's
love
the
it.
worst thing. I hate that when you go to an event, it doesn't start on time. I'm a stickler for time.
Yeah, are
I'm a
you?
stickler.
Oh
I
my
am a
God, I
stickler for
wish I was
time.
better at that. I got to be better at that. You've convinced me. I had a guest on the other day, a couple weeks ago, convinced me I need to wake up earlier. I'm still not there, but I've been convinced that I need to wake up
It's
earlier.
a work
You
in
are,
prog. It's a work in
yes.
progress. It's a
You're
work.
con
Take
you're
baby steps.
Yeah, exactly, baby steps. You're definitely convincing me I need to be better at being on time. Thank you. See, I've already learned something this podcast. I've learned something. I'm sure the listeners have learned
Woo
something.
woo.
Yeah, yeah. So you're spreading the positivity for sure.
Yeah, that's all we got to do. It's all about positive energy, staying in your lane, understanding your talents, and continue to push forward. Because you're gonna see so many obstacles and challenges in life. Like
Yeah.
your head's gonna be spinning for days.
Right.
You can't let it stop you.
No, you can't. You can't.
Yeah.
But you can surround yourself with people that can stop you, huh? Now,
That
see,
that.
you mentioned that, and I was like,
Oh
oh my
yeah.
God, I know that feeling.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you have no, I mean, well, you probably have some idea, but it's like when you have people around you, when you bring around a new idea and they immediately shoot it down, like they don't even want to hear about, oh, that's not going to work. That's stupid. Do something
Yeah.
else.
Whereas I find
No.
myself, anytime anybody brings an idea around, I'm like, wow, really? Well, what do you want to do to get that started? Like, that sounds like a cool
Exactly.
idea. And
Exactly.
yeah, I feel I'm with you on that. This
Yeah.
podcast is a stupid idea. Continue to keep doing, regardless of how many people keep telling me, if you keep doing it, we're gonna fire you. I'm like, I don't care. I'm still doing it. They haven't
It's
said that
just, it's just, yeah.
yet. So, all right. Well, it's been about that half-hour time frame.
Okay.
So it is time to come up with a sketch. Now, I've got a couple couple of things written down here. So
Oh boy.
I love the idea of the interview with the guest that is horrible. Like I think that that can
It was.
be yeah, I think that that can be a completely wonderful thing. And maybe what we could do is um we could have it be more of like an Oprah talk show, right? Like
Yeah,
or
yeah,
just a talk show.
yeah.
Um, and it's you come up with a name like basically like positivity, blah blah blah, and then we have a couple guests come on, and you interview the guests, and every single one of them is a terrible guest in their own right, and
Yeah.
you've got to somehow make it so that it turns out positive. Like you got to say something positive about every single person that's on the show. Because I think I like challenging people that way.
Yeah,
Um,
let's do it.
and you want to do that?
Yeah, let's rock with it.
Anything else? I think that one would work out real good.
I think that's perfect. That's right up my alley.
And for some reason, I wrote down microwave mentality, which I like a microwave
Yeah.
mentality. I don't know
the
why. I think I'm
microwave
just, yeah,
the microwave
because
mentality.
everything's got to
Yeah.
happen fast, right?
Yeah,
It's not
gotta
happening fast enough.
yeah, it gotta
Yeah,
happen fast.
right. Like the new iPhone comes out, and immediately people start talking about what's the next iPhone gonna have.
Yeah, I'm like,
You just be
okay.
happy with this a miracle in your hand, man. Like, come on. Are you?
$1,000 phone. Oh
Yeah,
my
exactly.
god.
Oh, you gonna
I
get
couldn't.
one?
I'll wait till
Yeah,
it
me
goes on
neither.
sale.
I just bought one. I bought a phone because they offered a year of service, a year of unlimited service for $1. I was like, I will buy a phone then.
Oh, hell
Yeah, right. So I did that. All right, good. Are you a Apple person? Or are you
yeah. I'm an
your
Apple.
Apple? Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
an
You got
Apple.
that MacBook?
Team Apple. I do.
Yeah, me too. It's so embarrassing how much money I've spent with them. God, it makes me sick to my tum tum. All right. All right, well let's do. So what do we want to call the name of the show? What do you think? So we've got it's got to be positivity, and
The positivity mindset.
I love it. The Positivity Mindset Hour. How about that?
Yes, the positivity mindset hour. Love it. Love it.
I've already got that domain name, so you can't take that. Uh Actually I might go buy it. You know what I
need
you know what
to.
I did you know what I did buy just recently? And
What?
I know you said PG-13, but I think this is still PG-13. So I'm always looking for domain names to purchase. And I've got this idea for a podcast website to help promote podcasts, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I found podhub.club. So it's a play off of, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, podhub. I'm very excited about it. I can't wait to get that up. But it's a .club, so it all rhymes.
That's
Podhub.club.
that club. That's funny.
Yeah. So
It's
anyway,
too cute.
yeah. All right. So Positivity Mindset Hour. We'll do 3 guests.
Okay.
And let's not worry too much about time frames or anything like that. Unless you got to get going, then you can do that. But basically, we'll just let the tape run on these until they seem like that part's done, and then we'll move on to the next one.
Okay.
And yeah, just run it like it's an actual TV show. How about that?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, I'm gonna count us in, and then we'll just. Oh, do you want to? You gonna be you?
I think I'll make up somebody.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, great. All right, in 3, 2.
Welcome you all back to the Positivity Mindset Hour. I'm your host, Deborah Allen. I know you love me. Everyone loves me. Lovely. All right, so we've got our first guest to come out. Herbert Milton is the CEO of his own television cleaning service. Herbert, how are you today?
I'm fine.
So, Herbert, tell us about how you started this brand new television cleaning program.
Well, I noticed my TV was dirty, and so I went to the store and I bought some cleaning supplies. I bought some paper towels. I bought some spray bottles. I bought some glass cleaner.
Okay, so Herbert, so sorry to interrupt you there, Herbert. I know you're really getting deep down into it. But what makes you so excited about starting this company? I mean, everyone starts a company. What makes you so excited about this brand new company?
Well, I clean TVs. So when people are watching the shows they like to watch, like ESPN or the Disney Channel or Fox or the Cartoon Network or ABC or what's the channel with Modern Family?
Okay, so Herbert, while we appreciate and we love your support and coming out to the show and telling us all about your amazing TV cleaning business, we're going to have to move on to our next guest. Thank you, Herbert.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Herbert. All right. Yeah. Gonna talk to some producers in a minute. Gotta set that up. Ah. All right. Next up on the list, we have got
Oh,
a
just
woman.
time out
Oh,
real quick, time out real quick.
okay.
Sorry. No, we don't have it's not live, so we can totally pause and like
Okay.
set the you're doing just fine. You're doing actually phenomenally. No, I'm just gonna let you know, you can have this next one be a woman
Okay.
because I can play different parts. But
Okay.
you can have this next one be a woman if you want, just to kind of separate and have the sounds
Even it.
even
Gotcha.
out.
Even it
And
out.
then I was thinking about the last one. I don't want you to name what the product is.
Okay.
And I want to wait till the end, and that's going to be our punch. And I'm going to see if I can
Okay.
get you to break at that moment.
Okay.
All right, so carry on.
All right. And our next guest today is a wonderful lady from Southern California. We've got Megan Clowry. Megan, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing just fine. I'm so happy to be here, Deborah.
Thank you so much. All right. So tell us what makes your business so unique.
Well, well, it's something everybody uses, and I just I'm very excited about talking about it with people and performing it, basically.
Okay. Now, where did the inspiration for this product come from?
Well, I was talking to some people, and they said that this was something that they absolutely needed in their lives, and so I, saw a void, and I thought I'd fill it.
Really now. Really now. So, any plans to take this product on the road?
Well, I'm probably going to need some help for that, but yeah, I would love to do that. I think that this is a service that a lot of people can benefit from, and I really am very, very excited. I'm very hands-on with it, and I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to experience it. So if I could get more people willing to do it, I would absolutely continue to expand.
Okay. All right, Megan. And tell us again, what is your product?
Oh, I I manually clean people's buttholes.
Oh, and that's going pretty well for you?
Well, it's great because a lot of times people use a lot of machinery for this, but in my case, I like to use my hands. I have really, really done very well with my hands, and so I like to use my hands. And one of the things a lot of people have is they have allergic responses to latex, and so in my case, I just don't use latex.
Okay. And that's sanitary to not use latex in people's
I'm not really sure. What do you mean by sanitary? What
sanitary.
is that word?
We're talking about on the lines of, cleanliness and, bacteria. If you're not using some kind of there's not a barrier between your hands and people's private areas, yeah, you could probably contract some things. Matter of fact, I
Huh.
know you could contract some stuff.
Well, that might explain these weird spots that I've got all over me.
All right, so we're gonna go to commercial. We're gonna take a commercial break, and when we're back, we'll have our next guest.
All right. All right. So this next guest, I like how you did that. Go ahead and build it up for this next guest.
Okay.
Okay. And I think it'll work out just fine.
Okay.
And I will fit in a commercial here. Actually, I do have
Gotcha.
some.
All right, and welcome back. What is that? What do I call the show? The positive
It's the
mindset hour.
Positivity Mindset Hour.
Okay. Welcome back to the Positivity Mindset Hour. Our next guest is someone that we've been looking forward to speaking with for some time now. He's got a business that no one has ever heard of, and he's going to share it with our audience today. Bill Rankin, how are you today?
Good.
All right, Bill. So tell us a little bit about how you got started in the industry.
Um, I don't know.
Okay, Bill. So, what is it that makes your product different from the rest?
It's I don't know. It's blue.
Okay, you know what, Bill? You're really pissing me off. Okay, you're really like we brought you on this program. We flew you out all the way from Utah, and you're giving me the the one word answers. What's up with that, Bill?
Uh,
What's going on?
it, I,
Okay. All right. That's going to be the end of the show. I love you guys. All right. Always remember positivity is a mindset. All right. We're going to put it forth. And even when you're encountered with negativity, keep a positive mindset going. All right. Positivity.
That's great. All right. The one thing I want you to do though is because I'm gonna punch this in the end there is just ask me like, look, we flew you out, you did all that. What is it that you're trying to pitch?
Okay.
Like, just ask me what the thing is I'm trying to pitch.
Okay. So we've flown you all the way out here. You've eaten our food. We put you up in hotels. They've taken you around town. You've seen the touristy spots. You've gone to the spa. You've gotten a massage. What is it that you're trying to pitch?
It's my book, Speaking Eloquently in Public Forums.
Are you freaking kidding me? Are you for real? Unbelievable. Unfriggin' believable. You know what? We're closing the show out early today. That's just it. I'm over this. I'm just done. This is ridiculous. Coffee! It's got my damn coffee. Bull crap.
Perfect. Awesome. That'll cut together real well, actually. I'm excited about that. Ash, do me a favor. Tell me all the stuff again. Where can we see you? Where can we find you? What's your next big thing that you're doing?
You guys can check me out 24/7, 365 on ashsaidit.com. That is ashsaidit.com. You can follow me across social media at OneLoveAsh, the number one. Love Ash. If you've got a question, comment, concern, you can email info@ashsaidit.com. That is info@ashsaidit.com. Or you can give us a call, 1-800-274-4936. Stuart, thank you so much. I've had a ball today. This is the
Awesome.
highlight of my day. And I appreciate all of your listeners and everybody that's supporting the movement and continue to push forward. You're doing a great job.
Well, thank you so much. And we'll see you soon.
Definitely.
That was fantastic. I think I hit the stop button.